for taking the time to check out my presentation. Here we'll be looking at a few works that are helping us visualize industrialization and this era of the Anthropocene, where humankind is now more powerful than the Earth's natural influences itself. As time and technology are progressing, the art reflecting environmentalism and industrialization and the Anthropocene are becoming more tactile and more immersive as time continues, because the issue of climate crisis is becoming more dire, and the art must reflect that. To quote Tom Cohen and Claire Colebrook, "The possibility of extinction has always been a latent figure in the textual production in archives, but the current state of depletion, decay, mutation, and exhaustion calls for new modes of address, new styles of publishing and authoring, and new formats of speed and distribution." Starting at the beginning of industrialization, we see it very surface level here in the beginning, where it's all starting to happen. Industrial, scientific advancements are occurring. This is when labor laws and organizations are starting to form because factories are becoming a thing. And this is when everyone was getting it figured out. So everything was very unregulated, and pollution produced during this time was really bad. We hop forward to a century later, and here we have humankind still exploiting the earth, still polluting it, not doing anything great. Edward Burtynsky, we see him go around the globe and capture these images in a film, the manufactured landscapes, about how industrialization is impacting these different areas across the globe, how, these individuals have to gather in the thousands to go work in factories every day, or the mining required to produce the materials in the factories, and how just industrialization is very tied up in all aspects of production. But Edward Burtynsky, too, is providing a somewhat surface level view. The film does let us get a little bit into things, but because he's not providing a hard stance on things, he's not providing too much information past the visual and past his lived experience, I do think it's problematic that he's a white man traveling across the world into these less privileged areas and not really recognizing these issues at hand and his hand and the production of these materials. So while I do think it is important that these images exist in some capacity, we're not neck deep yet. But 2013, we are looking at Hee, which is an artist duo, Helen Evans and Heiko Hansen, Paris-based, and this is Fracking Futures in the Fact Liverpool's main gallery, and it's very immersive. We got some fire over here shooting up. It's multi-sensory. I believe the individuals going inside have to wear hard hats, as this shadow shows, and it's just allowing an individual to be in the presence of this thing that happens quite frequently, quite often, as a method of extraction in the world, but the average Joe doesn't have the ability to see these things, so it's letting the viewer get a better grasp on these are the things necessary to extract these materials. And although they are not taking a hard stance that fracking is bad, they are providing the information. They are setting it up for room for dialogue where individuals can speak about it and inform their own opinions about it. And this next work, although it is not an artwork, I thought is very important to include, because as industrialization is responsible for many of the issues of pollution, I think we will also be somewhat reliant on industrialization to help solve the problems. So 2009, this is in Los Angeles, where their reservoir they were having one of the worst droughts to date, and the water was rapidly evaporating, causing high levels of bromide to occur in the water. which naturally occurs in groundwater, but with the chlorine and everything, the water was like very much so becoming undrinkable. So their solution to this was to spend over $30 million on these plastic balls. They are filled with water and coated with a UV protectant, and they are acting as a sealant for this body of water to soak up the sun, to help lessen the growth of bacteria, keep birds away, doing all the things. It's helping protect the water. So this just felt really important that art and science will be the solution, will be necessary for intersectional solutions. Yeah, and then our last one, we got Michael Pinsky in these pollution pods. This is a traveling exhibition that I believe is still currently going on. There are 5 different pods showing London, the atmospheres of London, Beijing, Sao Paulo, New Delhi, and one of the most pristine environments, Tutra in Norway. And as the individuals travel through each pod, they experience the different levels of air quality, and it's simulated through things like fog machines and perfumes, but hardness of breath can occur, eye irritation can occur, and although this is for only a few minutes, this in theory will be very impactful and tactile to the viewer, that they are simulating this experience. And the thing is, like, this is so we care about the people who breathe this air every day. As the visitors travel through the pods, they, once you get to the pristine environment in Norway, the freshest air that you've ever had, you're so thankful to be in that, after, say, being in the New Delhi pod where the air quality is really bad, and this is people's everyday realities. And it's like, we have to have these labor breaths of our own to care about those where this is already happening. So I think this is really successful in helping us understand these issues. This is our atmosphere, this is already happening, people are dying from it now. And exhibitions like this are helping us understand that this is an issue that needs to be tackled now. Thank you so much for your time. If you made it to the end, congratulations. Did my very best to keep it short. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.